When I think about entrepreneurs, I think about leadership, I think about initiative, I think about innovative, I think about someone who can build an interesting team, right? So this is something that Adam's done. Not that I'm that interesting, but someone who has management quality. Now, I had lunch with a guy named Dr. J.B. Barney. He's a new professor at that Red University. He was at Ohio State for a number of years. He wrote a book called What I Didn't Learn in Business School and How Strategy Works in the Real World. But he wrote a paper on entrepreneurs. He had done research. And he had looked for data around how do entrepreneurs work. And the assumption is that entrepreneurs are more tolerant of risk, right? That risk doesn't bother them. He said it's not actually true. And all these things that I said, leadership, initiative, innovation, team building, management quality, all of that is true. But the two things that they have that make them different from other managers, overconfidence, irrational thinking. But in a good way, right? So the math would say that entrepreneurs have a higher standard deviation from rational thought. So if you think about it, an entrepreneur is somebody who, okay, if they're overconfident, so they use their research segment is a study of one, right, themselves, right? If I believe this, then the market must be true. And if they took the time to dig through all the data, they'd probably miss the opportunity. So think about yourselves. Think about what's your posture toward being an entrepreneur. Are you risk averse? You let fear determine your fate? Are you afraid of things? Scott was right. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I grew up in Germany. I didn't grow up in this country. And I ate lunch by myself every single day. Stuttering problem, super shy. My parents left when I was 17, so I lived the last year by myself. Which there's a problem with that when you're super shy, right? Because you have to talk to people. When they left, I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to talk to people. And I started realizing that I was letting fear stop me from doing stuff that I wanted to do. So that year being by myself, kind of like a year living dangerously, I learned that I had to overcome my natural tendency to be an introvert because I wasn't going to realize my dreams by being afraid. So think about what are the things that you're building in your life that are special, and you should have a dream, something that you want to build, something that is special. And do you let things stop you? Do you let other people's opinions of you or people saying you can't do this get in the way? Do you trust your own instinct? Do you follow your gut? So what I've learned, I've been in this business for a long time, is that I never go against my gut. I always follow my instinct. And remember, I'm a person of tremendous faith, so I feel like I have an influence over my life. So it's like I have help. I'm not really this good. I just have a lot of help. And then are you willing to be directed by that higher force? Are you willing to make sure that you put people in your life that will challenge you and that will push you? And are you willing to lose to win? Okay? So most of the people that I've found in my career who are in the same job forever, who never realize their dreams, is because they're afraid and they let fear get in their way. And if you ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen, then you start to realize, maybe I shouldn't let this stop me. So when I was sick and I was like, hey, what's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, I could die. So my goal was not to die and to do everything I could to make sure I stay on the planet as long as possible. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my friends. I learned a lot about my family. And I learned that I would never, ever spend time on things I didn't care about, and that I would never let fear get in my way, that I would feel the fear and move through it, but that the rest of my life would be building something special. And that's why I love coming to speak to students, because you guys are making a big investment in yourselves.